So, hello and welcome to our office hours with the Intuit developer team. My name is Denise. I am one of the solution engineers on the QuickBooks team, and I will be your host for today's Webhooks webinar. On this call, I have quite a few of my coworkers, Nate and Projecta, who will be able to assist in answering your questions. As some general housekeeping, we have a few rules. We will be recording, so please place your questions in the chat. At the end of the webinar, we will stop recording and you will have the opportunity to move to a breakout room with one of our solution engineers if you have an extensive and additional question that needs to be answered. So to level set this conversation, let's chat about what webhooks are. Essentially, webhooks push event subscribe data to you. This is different from polling an API where you will receive the notification after the event has happened in real time. For webhooks, you will also have to subscribe to receive it. It does not come automatically. So for Intuit, we have decided to migrate to what is called CloudEvents. So why the switch? Well, with CloudEvents, we now have a way to specify how we describe event data in a common way. It dramatically simplifies event declaration and delivery across services, platforms, and more. In other words, CloudEvents has created a way for us to standardize our webhook response event data, regardless of how the request data is structured, and this allows flexibility across the board. I wanted to do a quick overview of our current webhooks payload and the new CloudEvents payload. So on the left, you'll see that the current webhooks payload that starts with event notifications. And on the right is the new structure. If you notice, the event notifications is now gone. On the next slide, we will take some time to walk through how the new structure is formatted. So here's the new webhooks payload structure breakdown. I want to highlight slash call out a few key pieces. Note that in the new structure, one notification can contain a list of events for each of the different QuickBooks Online companies. That's a frequently asked question that I'll go over again at the end of this presentation. And your app needs to be updated to handle events for multiple companies per notification. So as you know, this is a spec version is one. It's always going to be one that can be ignored. The ID is the ID of the event, may be useful in troubleshooting or reporting any errors when you submit or create a support ticket for our team. Source is the GUID value, another value that can be ignored. The type, so the type represents the entity and event for the notification, and it's in this format. So it's the namespace, then the entity type, which is account in this case, event name, which was created. So an account was created, and the version is V1. We have the traditional data content type, application JSON, timestamp, and then we have the Intuit entity ID. That is the ID of the entity that was changed. So in this case, this is the ID for the account that was created, that was changed. And then the Intuit account ID is the name of the QuickBooks Online company ID or the realm ID. And then data will represent name value pairs for the additional data. It can be ignored if it's empty. In this case, it's empty. Here is an example of a webhooks response payload after multiple events have been received under the same realm ID. So this is how the response payload has come in. You note that there's different entity IDs, and then the account ID is the same. So it's for the same company, but different entities and this is the ID of the entity. So this was for an invoice that was deleted, and this is for a sales receipt that was updated. So I will walk you through right now how to turn on our new webhooks, our Cloud Event webhooks in your developer portal. So this is how to set it up and test in the UI. We recommend turning on and testing the cloud events in your sandbox account before starting the prod webhook migration. The process will be exactly the same. So once you have it squared away with your Sandbox account, you should be able to migrate to your prod. All right, so I will go ahead. I'm going to log into my developer account. So now that I'm on my account, I'm going to migrate or go to my Sandbox account that I want to test this in. So for this demo, it's the Webhooks demo app. I will go to the Webhooks section that's located on this left-hand side. And here you will see a few things. So this might be familiar to those of you that already have webhooks set up, but note a few things. One, you have to put your endpoint URL. I'm just going to put something random. You will also need your verifier token. You will not be able to get this verifier token until you hit save. Oh, it's not known. Let me pick another one. See if it'll let me do that one. Okay, perfect. Okay. So that has to be verified, and then I'll quickly just flash my verifier token. That was disabled until this is placed here. Now for the subscribed events, specifically for the new webhooks platform, we have this enable payload format. This, I want to show you a difference. So I'm going to send a test event with the current setup that a lot of you may know. This will send. So it gives you a sample event. You can hit send, and you will see that you get the success status. If I have it connected to an outside entity, I can then share that with you. So now in order to enable, um, I might be able to spin up something real quick for you guys so you can see. I'm going to use this. It's not the right thing. I'm going to pick one. I'm going to create an account. See if it came through. There's a lag in mine at the moment, but I will come back to this and I will continue. So this again is the current payload structure. If you want to enable the cloud, you'll just toggle this on. It'll show a warning. Please make sure your endpoint can process events in the new format before changing it. Are you sure you want to change your payload? Note you still have time to save the subscription before this takes effect. Now that note means even though I've toggled this on, that doesn't mean I will receive the new format. I now also have to hit save. Now that it's saved, I can go and send test events now using the new format. If you notice that has now changed to what I showed you earlier, one of the biggest indicators is that you've noticed that the event notification object is now gone, and now we have the spec version. Okay. All right. So that's where you can see this. You have your opportunity as nothing has changed on this end where you can choose what you want to subscribe to. And that's it for this demo. So as a note, some of you may be using our SDKs. If you are using our SDKs, then you need to update to the latest versions. We have updated the Java, PHP, .NET SDK. So all you would need to do is kind of update. I will walk through quickly our Java SDK. And if you aren't using any of these SDKs, then you don't have to worry about doing this issue or update. If you are experiencing issues, you can submit a support ticket and one of the solution engineers should be able to assist. As another reminder, if you are making changes or updates, we recommend setting it up and testing in your sandbox account before migrating to your production instance. Here is our public-facing Intuit developer account. I will walk you through the Java SDK. So there's two places that you want to go and look for the update to this Java SDK that kind of shows you the new webhooks events. The first one is here. Go to source, main, we'll go here. First place we'll look is services. If you notice, under the webhooks service Java, we have added a new import for our webhooks cloud events. I'm going to Command F. And here is our information regarding the webhooks payload, which are the array events here. So this is referencing the new webhooks, the cloud event structure. Second place we're going to now go look is over here. See. Go to data. I missed the step. Data. Scroll to the bottom for the webhooks. This is the current one, and this is for the new cloud event. So this is the support for the new cloud event payload. And you'll see all of those parameters that I showed you earlier with the new structure is now listed here. So that's just a walkthrough of one of our payloads. That's of our one of our SDK, specifically the Java SDK. So you just need to update to the latest version to get those details. Deadline. So currently, our deadline at this time is May 15th, 2026 is the new deadline for all webhook subscriptions to migrate to the new cloud events format. So whether you're using the SDK and or an app, you need to go into the app and toggle on that cloud events format structure. If you do not make a change to your app, you will no longer be able to process webhooks from Intuit after May 15th, 2026. So while this is a webhooks migration webinar, we also wanted to kind of discuss some of the webhooks monitoring that best practices. So once you've set up our webhooks, as a reminder, our system expects to receive a 200 status from your endpoint, indicating that your application is receiving our notifications. If we do not receive the 200 status within 3 seconds, our system will implement retries at 0, 10, 20, and 30 seconds, 5 minutes, 20 minutes, 2 hours, 4 hours, and 6 hour intervals, and it will stay on 6 hours interval retries. After 24 hours of continual failures, we will send an email to inform you of the issue, the type of errors our system is seeing, and guidance on how to resolve the issues. As always, you can always submit a support ticket if additional support is needed if you are seeing some errors. Wanted to showcase quickly a screenshot of a notification you will see if your webhooks are experiencing issues with the error messages our system sees. So if you notice, this screenshot indicates that it cannot be delivered because of an internal server error from your endpoint. So you will see this in the same place where you go to toggle on the cloud events format. Wanted to quickly call out some frequently asked questions. So these are some that we recently received regarding the webhooks migration. So the first one is there is a note that a single notification can contain a list of events from different companies. What does this mean? Now, this note is in reference to one of our blogs that we'll be sharing. I'll be going through quickly, and that's where this question came from. And that means that you can receive a response payload from different companies connected to your application if they are received at the same time. I shared that screenshot earlier of the same realm ID having two different events, the sales receipt, and I think it was account created. With cloud events, multiple realm IDs can be batched together or may be batched together in one HTTP request. However, if you are a customer that is on the older V3, then the HTTP request will also be split up. So they'll just be split up versus in one batch. Number two, what is the maximum number of events that will be sent in a single webhook? So the maximum number of events is currently 20. Next, does the change of realm ID to an account ID affect everywhere or just the webhook? So that is noting that in the payload, the new structure references the realm ID as Intuit ID. So this person is asking if this change is only happening with webhooks or is it happening with the plan to happen throughout the APIs? And the answer to that is that it only affects the webhooks. So here are some links to the blogs, some blogs and cloud events. So we'll be dropping those in the chat, referencing the change to the payload structure. We can quickly look at one. So this one kind of discusses what I was just talking about with our retry policy. I think it's a good read on how it's being implemented and some common reasons why you might be experiencing errors or why we may fail to deliver a notification to your service. So at this time, I'm going to stop the recording. If you have any questions, this is the opportunity to either share your question. You can share off mute, or if you prefer, we can put you in a breakout room.